Hello, everyone. Let's continue with the we say advantage and then disadvantage. Okay. I'm going to start now. Let me share my screen here. And let's get started with our lesson, okay? Let's start with the structure, obviously, all right? Here, the structure of advantage. So I'm going to give you a very quick overview, all right? You have to follow the structure. If you don't follow the structure, there's no way, okay? And you'll see down here. I'm going to put my website, kikacabalazo.com, down below. And you can access kikacabalazo.com or right here below as well. I'll also provide some PDFs for you to consult. So the structure is right here. Don't forget about the book. There are books for sale. I'm following along with the book on Amazon. It's really cheap. If I'm not mistaken, how much does it cost? $10, $11. And it's worth it. It's worth it because it's a step-by-step guide. So let's go. Introduction. The introduction. First, we have to paraphrase, basically restate it. What do you mean, Kika? Well, paraphrasing is another thing that I'm going to, in the next class, work on with you. How do you paraphrase? It's really easy. For paraphrasing, we take that big topic up there, that big topic. Let's say we're talking about traveling abroad, okay? Nowadays, people are going more and more overseas, either to study at universities or to work in foreign countries. This trend of moving abroad for educational or professional reasons has become increasingly common in recent years. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this development? So then we're going to rephrase or restate that big topic up there. So instead of nowadays, we'll use these days. I'll show you roughly how it's done, but then I'll show you step by step. Okay, these days, and then I'll say it in another way. In other words, I'll use a passive voice or perhaps a different tense. So that's paraphrasing, either by using synonyms or through word formation, which means changing words from an adjective to a noun, for example. Paraphrasing can also involve slightly altering the structure of a sentence or rewording phrases to express the same idea in a different way. I'll give you all of this later, but let's keep things simple so we can get there later. So let's paraphrase. Right after that, here I put a question mark. Support the first sentence. I put a question mark. What would that be? It's optional for you to add a little support to that first sentence, which is a paraphrase. Right after that, this is important. You will have to present the thesis. What is the thesis? The thesis, which is essentially the main idea or central argument of your essay, is your topic for body paragraph 1 and also serves as your topic for body paragraph 2. For example, let's say it's about people who are living abroad away from their home countries. Look, what would be the topic? Your big topic, the main subject you want to discuss in detail. Because you're going to start with an advantage and right after that, a disadvantage. What would your advantage be, your topic? I would say that everyone is going to say something like, oh, learning a new language. Everyone is going to say, make new friends. Everyone is going to say that. All of these are examples. We will have to give examples. If you put that, you won't be able to exemplify. So we need to carefully pick a topic, a significant advantage, one that essentially covers all of that. Let's put it this way. Open minds or broadened horizons. That's an advantage. And a disadvantage? I would put missing family. So let's go. We already have an advantage and a disadvantage. So in this thesis, you're going to put one advantage and one disadvantage without repeating. So you have to think of two advantages that are synonyms. One advantage and a synonym. One disadvantage and a synonym. Did you get it? No repetitions. Okay? And right after that, you will present your ISAI. It's important to present the ISAI. This ISAI we'll discuss. Okay? Then we move on to body paragraph 1, which is the advantage I already mentioned earlier. So here it would be broadening horizons, which we've already talked about here. And, here we could have put open minds so as not to repeat. Okay? Broadening horizons. Then we'll have to use the tell. But what is the tell, Kika? I'm going to talk about the tell very soon in the next class. I'll also talk about the tell. The tell, just to give you a quick overview here, is your topic. The T stands for topic, which simply means your main subject, your topic. Broadening horizons. The biggest benefit of living abroad is that people, the Rhoda and the Rio come right after. I will have to explain. Explanation is the hotel, the explanation, the edutel. In other words. Then I'll explain why my main point, my sales pitch, is broadening horizons. Then I'll explain. Right after that, it's the E, for example, right? I'll be talking about the tell all the time, because if you don't have the tell, you lose focus. So the tell is to tie you to the paragraph, okay? Right after that comes the example. That's when we can use, for instance, comma. Learning a new language. There are plenty, okay? Make new friends, taste new foods, experience new cultural experiences, and so on. And finally, the lin from tell, look, T-E-L-I, tell, no, in the paragraphs. You have to have the tell. You can't skip the tell, understood? Then we are going to tie paragraph 1 to the advantage. The link here would act as a conclusion to the paragraph, making it clear how paragraph 1 connects to the advantage. We always use it like this. Therefore, thus, this makes people more well-rounded. Just close the paragraph. We need to close the paragraph, understood? Then we move on to paragraph 2. Paragraph 2, which is over there, okay? Now, body paragraph 2 would be the disadvantage, specifically your disadvantage, okay? What would the disadvantage be? I would put here about traveling in my book, if you go on Amazon. Maria Cristina Cavalazzi, the book, The Advantages of Vantage, has the whole essay on traveling abroad, living abroad, whatever. And then there are also the common mistakes, which are really cool to see in the book regarding this very essay, specifically about traveling abroad, going abroad, living abroad, whatever. So the disadvantage, we move from body paragraph 1 to body paragraph 2, which would be the disadvantage. I've already mentioned it above. I can't repeat it. It's miss family. And up there, you have to say it in other words, but we already know that our disadvantage is missing family. Okay? And then, in other words, I'm sorry, not in other words, on the other hand, people miss family. I'm just putting it like this, right? Travelers, whatever. The main disadvantage is that people miss their family, and so on. You can do quite a lot with this. Later, I will stop. I will talk to you so you don't use simple words, but rather complex ones. I'll provide all of this, and it will be gradual. So I can't give you everything at once. That's all. So I'm going very slowly. I'm showing the structure. And right after that, we'll see. And then the grammar comes along too. Today, I'll still give a bit of grammar so that in the next class, we can already start working. The essay? Well, in body paragraph 2, we will be talking exactly about this topic in detail. Let's go. to paragraph 2. Hold on just a moment, please. Let me check something real quick. Let me see. I'm recalling